Every serious investor eventually reaches a turning point that nobody prepares you for. It's not hitting your first six figures. It's not clearing your debt. It's not even maxing out all your retirement accounts. It's the exact moment when your financial future becomes unstoppable, where even if you never added another penny, mathematics and time would carry you to the finish line. If this sounds too good to be true, it's because the financial industry keeps quiet about it, but the math is bulletproof. Nobody wants to hustle until they're 70. Nobody wants their golden years hanging by the thread of perfect execution for decades. Here's the secret they don't teach you. There's a precise mathematical tipping point where your savings stop being the star of the show, where your investment growth starts outpacing what you can realistically put away. And surprise, it happens way before you hit retirement age. That's old school thinking. I'm about to reveal two game-changing milestones: the tipping point where your portfolio growth crushes your monthly contributions, and the freedom point where you can stop contributing entirely and still retire on time. I'll break down the real numbers, show you how close you might be, and teach you to calculate your personal freedom number, even if you feel like you're behind. If this kind of financial breakthrough appeals to you, smash that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone ready to stop feeling financially stressed. Let's dive in. Your investment strategy runs on two completely different power sources. Power source number one is exhausting and obvious: your manual contributions. This is the cash you force from every paycheck into your accounts. In the early days, it's literally everything. It feels like you're dragging dead weight up a mountain. Power source number two is silent and hidden: compound growth. At first, it's almost insulting. A couple $100 here, maybe a few thousand there, barely noticeable. But here's what changes everything. These two forces don't stay balanced forever. One starts fading while the other becomes a freight train. Eventually, the entire equation reverses. This reversal is what I call the tipping point. The tipping point is beautifully simple. It's when your portfolio's yearly growth beats your yearly contributions. Period. That's when you stop dragging your investments forward and they start dragging themselves. Let me paint the picture with real numbers. Imagine you're putting $20,000 yearly into diversified index funds. We'll use a conservative 7% average return to keep things clear. With $100,000 invested, that 7% growth gives you $7,000. Your contributions are still running the show. You're driving this bus. With $300,000 invested, 7% growth delivers $21,000. Now you're splitting duties 50-50. You and compound growth are partners. With $500,000 invested, 7% growth produces $35,000. Suddenly your $20,000 contribution feels tiny. Compound growth just became the main character. With $1 million invested, 7% growth generates $70,000 annually. Your contribution is still helpful, but honestly, it's become pocket change compared to what your money is earning by itself. This explains why veterans say wealth building gets dramatically easier after those first few $100,000, because initially, you're pushing that boulder uphill solo, but somewhere around that $300,000 to $500,000 sweet spot, depending on your savings rate, that boulder starts rolling downhill by itself. This insight unlocks a fascinating mental exercise that answers the scary question everyone thinks but won't ask. What if I just stopped contributing at various stages? Same scenario, $20,000 yearly, 7% growth, targeting $1 million. Contributing the entire journey gets you to $1 million in about 23 years. That's your benchmark. Now watch what happens when you stop at different milestones. Stop at $100,000, maybe 5 years of contributions. But quitting this early could cost you decades because you haven't reached critical mass. You're still doing nearly all the heavy lifting. Stop at $300,000 instead, roughly 11 years of contributions. From here, compound growth has enough momentum to carry you the remaining distance in approximately 18 more years. Total time, around 29 years. You only lose 6 years compared to the benchmark. Here's the mind-blowing scenario. Stop at $500,000, about 15 years of contributions. Compound growth can double this to $1 million in roughly 11 additional years. Total timeline, 26 years. Stopping at $500,000 only delays your millionaire status by 3 years. This is the core insight of this entire discussion. Reaching halfway to $1 million is not reaching the halfway point in time. Once you achieve critical mass, your portfolio works so hard that your ongoing contributions become relatively insignificant. But we need to distinguish two concepts here. My contributions don't move the needle anymore, and I can stop investing completely are totally different statements. The tipping point is a mental shift. The actual "I never need to invest again for retirement" moment has a name: Coast FI. Coast FI means you've invested enough today that even without adding another dollar, compound growth should still hit your retirement target by your chosen age. This doesn't necessarily mean retiring early. It usually means freedom from financial anxiety. You can work part-time, accept that passion job with lower pay, launch that business, or stop worrying that one rough year destroys everything. Let me break down the calculation step by step. Start by determining your retirement spending needs. Let's use $70,000 annually. Subtract guaranteed income sources like Social Security. We'll estimate $25,000. This means your portfolio must generate $45,000 yearly. Using the standard 4% withdrawal rule, your target portfolio becomes $45,000 divided by 0.04, which equals $1,125,000. That's your destination. Here's the calculation most people never see clearly explained. Your Coast FI number equals your target portfolio divided by compound growth over your remaining timeline. The formula looks like this: target portfolio divided by 1 to plus real return rate raised to the power of years remaining. Real return means your expected growth minus inflation, and years remaining is obvious. Using our example with a conservative 5% real return and 30 years until retirement, $1,125,000 divided by 1.05 to the 30th power equals roughly $260,000. Translation: if you're 30 years from retirement with around $260,000 invested, you never need to contribute another penny for retirement to happen on schedule, not because markets are guaranteed, because time and compound growth are now your employees. That's Coast FI. That's when the pressure valve releases. Before Coast FI, missing contributions feels catastrophic. After Coast FI, your strategy simplifies dramatically. Don't mess it up. Stay invested. Resist panic selling. Don't raid the account for expenses. Don't let lifestyle inflation steal the freedom you just earned. Sure, contributions still help, but after critical mass, they're more about risk management than making retirement possible. They buy you buffer room. They buy you security. They buy you flexibility. If you only chase someday retirement, you'll burn out completely. Instead, celebrate the milestones that prove your system is working. First $10,000, evidence the habit is real. First $100,000, compound growth starts feeling legitimate. The tipping point, growth beats your contributions. When your portfolio earns more than your salary, mind-blowing, but it happens. Your Coast FI number, contributions become voluntary. When investments cover basic expenses, your first real taste of financial security. When work becomes completely optional, the final destination. Your investment journey isn't one endless grind towards 65. It's a sequence of fundamental shifts. Initially, you power everything. Then compound growth becomes your partner. Then compound growth takes the wheel. Finally, if you stick with it long enough, you experience that incredible moment where your contributions stop feeling essential because your money is finally carrying its own weight. So wherever you stand today, starting from scratch, chasing that first $10,000, climbing toward $100,000, pushing for that $300,000 to $500,000 tipping point, remember this: you're not just accumulating money, you're constructing a wealth machine. And once that machine reaches sufficient size, it doesn't need you pushing forever. It just needs you to stay out of its way. If this video clarified your financial roadmap, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps more people discover practical, no-nonsense money guidance. And drop a comment below. What milestone are you targeting right now? The first $10,000, that crucial $100,000, or maybe that life-changing tipping point? This is where financial education meets real action, and action builds your future.